I don't care. The reason I say that, and I guess I've said this before, people are lunkheads. One of my best friends, he just won $1,000 at the company. He works his ass off. He's a good dude. And he always says, I have no friends. And I guess to a certain extent, he's correct. Now, I think part of the reason he did that, we never discussed it too much, but I had a buddy named John who was a great car salesman. And I worked for him with a couple of months. And John would say, well, if you have an enemy, if somebody hates you, they're never going to ask you for any money. They're never going to ask you to help them move. They're never going to ask you to do anything. They're just not going to talk to you, which is good. So it'd be better if people hated you. And I thought that was an interesting observation. It's almost nihilistic, which I've been accused of being a nihilist. So anyway, I don't care anymore about the Trump presidency. I mean, I hope he's successful, and I would hope just as much that Mrs. Clinton would be successful. But the reason I got so into that, and I have to be honest, I am concerned about the country, but pretty simple. If an asteroid hit the planet, I really don't know what Mrs. Clinton or Mr. Trump could do about it. I don't know. I don't know all the things that could happen. I don't know how much power they actually have. I don't know how much the power the corporations have, or the families, as a conspiratorial set. I don't know. So, I don't know. But my main reason for being passionate about it is that I have picked every presidential race since 1984. I have picked the winner. In 1980, I was shocked. I had no idea what was going on. I had no idea for the mood of the country, which was kind of explanatory. If you think about my biography, 1980 was a very difficult year for me. I had a terrible crisis in 1980, which I don't want to get into. But by the time the election went, the crisis has passed. But I was so wound up in my own self and my own biography, I really didn't watch what was going on around me. But by 1984, I was married. I went to college. I believe I was an Asian studies major at that time. I was involved. And I remember some of the people. I remember an African gentleman that I was with, that I went to school with, and he goes, Mondale is going to win. He will win, And I voted for Mondale, but I didn't think he was going to win. I just thought Reagan just looked too presidential, and people dug him too much. I just didn't see it happening. And later on, in 88, that was probably when I was the most Republican. I thought that W's daddy was going to win. I didn't vote for W's daddy. I think at that time I voted for Ron Paul. That was my libertarian period, as I said, or Republican. Libertarian, Republican, very similar. So anyway, then by 92, I'd already had 2 kids. I was very embroiled in that. But it was obvious that Clinton was strong. 96, it was very obvious when him and Dole did that thing where they were both standing up and talking. And the ponytail guy did it. It was just very, very obvious that it was a Clinton win. It wasn't hard. 2000, I was very big for W. I was still a real big Republican. So yeah, 2004, which even though some people think that Kerry actually won, I was a W guy. Still real conservative. I was making a lot of money at that time. 2008, I switched over to Obama. I remember coming out of a business that I was working in, and I had a 2006 Mini Cooper, with a turbocharger, had a real flashy hot car, and I had a Sirius satellite radio. And I remember after Iowa, sitting there listening to Obama talk, and I thought, man, this guy is like Kennedy-esque. This guy is strong. And I thought, and even though I was conspiratorial at the time, I thought, well, maybe the big shots want him to win and he'll do a great job, and I got behind him. And it even got more so, I was undecided about it until we got up there and we got the banker crisis, and Mr. McCain just said, I'm going to vote for the bailout. And I said, well, what's the difference? Might as well vote for him. And I still agree with that. I still don't mind confessing that. But I thought he was going to win, and I thought he was going to beat Romney. And to me, Trump was obvious. The country was terrible. Obamacare was terrible. My own people, the people that come from my people, the middle class and the lower middle class, which is what I'm a part of. I'm in the lower class, or even poor. I don't know. I can't hardly say I'm poor, but sometimes I feel that way. We want to change, and that's why he won. But as far as what he's going to do, I don't know. I mean, I'm excited about the Secretary of State pick. We got a guy who's a friend of Russia, and I think all this Russian hysteria is crazy. And I think we need to move on beyond this terrorism and get to work and get to business. We need to get out of the war model and get to the business model. And I hope that's what we do, because I think that's what people were saying. I don't think people are going to say, oh, I'm anti-war. That sounds so left-wing. But if you say I'm pro-business and I want business, then that's a new age, and that's what's going to happen, and I hope that happens. But as far as that goes, me thinking Trump's one of my heroes or having any confidence in him, I don't know. I don't think if my pants were on fire and Mr. Trump really had to piss, I don't know if he'd pee on me to put it out. I don't know. So I voted for him. I'm hoping for the best, but I really don't care. I just wanted him to win because I thought he would. And I'm a typical guy. I'm competitive, and I like to win. Out!